I was like, what do you mean our flight got canceled? I haven't gotten an email. What the hell? Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie if you're new here. I have been back from Spain for almost a month. It'll be a month tomorrow and I still haven't done my trip review. I know I'm the worst, but I've just been super duper busy with work, trying to catch up, and dance. New season started and I spoke at a conference in Arizona and I've been hanging out with my friends, and yeah, it's just been a lot, so haven't done it yet. But this video is my review of the Barcelona, Ibiza, Valencia trip with EF Ultimate Break that I went on from September 2nd to September 11th. So let's get into it. Before I get into this, I'm an ambassador for EF Ultimate Break, so with that I promote a lot of their trips that I go on, and I have a code that you can use, which I will put down below with instructions and the link and all that stuff, for you to get $100 off your first trip with EF Ultimate Break. But with that, I just want to put out this disclaimer that just because I'm an ambassador does not mean that this review is not going to be honest, or like my other reviews are not going to be honest, because I'm always going to be honest. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm not like employed by them. They don't pay me. When people use my code, I earn points, and then after a certain amount of points, I'm able to book free trips. I don't get money into my bank account from EF Ultimate Break. Just wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of like brand ambassadors and stuff like that, they'll say they love a product, and I can say I love this trip and everything was peachy keen and perfect, but if it's not the case, then I'm lying to you, and that's just not me. So I'm gonna tell you straight up what I liked, what I didn't like, and tips, tricks, all that jazz. But if you are interested in booking a trip, instructions for how to get a discount are going to be below with my code. So yes, that is all. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be breaking this video into like different categories so that it's easier, and I can put like the little chapters and you guys can like skip around if you're not interested in something. So first, I'm going to start out with flights because there's some drama with these. Okay, so initially we got our flights 30 days out, obviously, like you always do with EF Ultimate Break. So 30 days before our trip, we got our flight information, and we were supposed to fly from LAX to Amsterdam, from Amsterdam to Barcelona. And in Amsterdam, we were supposed to have like a 5-hour layover, which is long, but we were like, it's okay, like we can have breakfast in the airport and have some drinks and it'll be fine. The day before we were supposed to leave, I got a text from my friend and she's like, hey, Emma just got an email that our flight got canceled. And I was like, what do you mean our flight got canceled? She's like, yeah. She sends me a screenshot of the email. I go onto our portal. Sure enough, our flight is canceled. Our flight from LAX to Amsterdam is canceled. So I automatically went into panic mode. I saw that they rebooked us onto completely new flights. So our new flights were from LAX to Atlanta, pretty sure, Atlanta to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Barcelona. So the Amsterdam to Barcelona flight was still the same one that we originally had, but now we had like an extra flight, an extra layover. So now our layovers were like an hour in each place. Keep in mind, at this point, I had already packed into my new Monos bag, like the check-in bag. I was gonna check in a bag. Everything was so nice and neat. Like I had everything that I could even imagine that I would need on this trip, or like remotely want on this trip. I had it packed and it was so nice. So once I saw that our layovers were so short, I was like, no, not chancing it. I'm just gonna take a carry-on in a backpack. So I had to unpack my nicely packed Monos bag and try to fit as much as I could into a carry-on and a backpack. Yeah, it is what it is. At least I was rebooked, blah blah. But to be sure, I wanted to make sure that everything was set, that I was actually on those flights, that I didn't have to do anything on my end. So I called EF Ultimate Break, and this goes back to my disclaimer that my review is always going to be honest. I called EF Ultimate Break and I told them what was happening, and I said, I just want to make sure that everything's good on my end and there's nothing that I have to do to make sure that I make it to Spain on time. The lady basically goes, I can't do anything about canceled flights. Once I book you onto flights, it's out of my hands, and on my end, I can't do anything. So you have to talk about this with the airlines directly. I hang up and I call, because, okay, our initial provider was KLM. They rebooked us onto these new flights, right? But these new flights that they rebooked us on were operated by Delta. So after EF, I call KLM and I'm like, I just want to make sure everything's good on my end, blah, blah, blah. They say, oh, actually, call Delta because you're on Delta flights. And I'm like, yeah, but you rebooked me. You're the one that booked this. And they're like, yeah, but you're on Delta flights. So it's good on our end. Go call Delta. All right, then. So I call Delta and they say, oh, I actually can't find you on your first flight from LAX to Atlanta. Are you sure you booked it? I was like, actually, I didn't book anything. KLM rebooked me onto that flight. And I have the receipts, like, this is my itinerary that's on my KLM portal. The guy was like, yeah, I can't find it. I'm not sure what to tell you. Okay, so what do I do? Like, do I just show up to the airport tomorrow and then just like cross my fingers? And he was like, well, if you have the receipts that you're actually on it and then on KLM it says that you're on the flight, then you're on the flight. You should be good. So absolutely no help. So I was like, all right, freaking out even more. Call KLM again. And I'm like, hey, Delta can't find my flights. What the hell am I supposed to do? They're like, yeah, that's a Delta problem. Sorry. I called Delta again just to be sure, because they're telling all of us different information. Maria was calling, Yvette was calling, all of us were calling, and they were giving us all different information. I call EF again, and I'm like, Delta is telling us they really can't do anything about this because we booked through a third party, which is EF full-time break, and then KLM rebooked us, so like it's out of their hands, but they can't find me on my first flight, so what the heck am I supposed to do? And again, EF gives me the, we can't do anything about this, it's out of our hands, go handle it. Okay. But this is where I get upset because I pay all this money to have a hassle-free travel experience. And I'm booking my flights through you. Like, I feel like that's when I hand over the responsibility to handle these problems to you. When a flight is canceled, the responsibility shouldn't come back to me. I shouldn't have to go through the hassle of contacting this airline, contacting that airline. Like, no, you booked my flights. They're booked through you, so now airlines can't do anything about it because I booked through a third party, but I can't do anything about it because I'm not the one that actually booked the flights. So it's just, I think there has to be a way better system for canceled flights. But anyway, yeah, Thursday night, we're going to sleep and we still have no idea what the hell is going on. So we get to the airport on Friday, just at our regular time, just as if we're actually on this Atlanta flight because we have no idea. We get to the desk and they're basically like, yeah, you're not booked on the LAX to Atlanta flight. They didn't rebook you. Luckily, they were able to get me, Emma, Maria, and 2 other girls onto that flight because EF, I guess, booked us 5 under one, like, ticket. So us 5, they were able to put on that flight right away. But our friend Yvette, EF had booked separately, and I have no idea why because we all booked around the same time. Like, I had listed all of us as travel companions. Like, I don't know why EF booked her separately, but she was on her own separate ticket. So like when we got to the counter, they couldn't do anything about Yvette's ticket. So once Yvette gets there, she gets to the front and she explains that they had already fixed it for us. So like, this is the solution that they found. And the lady goes, oh yeah, but that flight is now full, so I can't put you on that flight. So Yvette had to go from the Delta terminal to Tom Bradley, the international terminal, to talk to Air France, because Air France is another partner of KLM, to have them rebook her onto a completely new itinerary. So she had completely new flights. So they booked her from LAX to London on British Airways, I'm pretty sure, and London to Spain. And she still landed in Spain around the same time that we did, so that worked out. But it was just kind of sad that we weren't all together, and yeah. But I would have rather been on Yvette's itinerary, honestly. Just the one layover, that would have been great. But it is what it is. We all got to Spain. I will say that all of us had the little panic moment and we did the carry-on thing. But the 2 other girls that were on the LAX flight also, they checked bags and their bags made it to Spain. Like, it made it through all the hour layovers and made it to Spain. So I was a little salty that I didn't just keep my checked bag, because it would have made it, but whatever. Other than that, flights were fine. I did get stuck on a middle seat for the long haul flight that I had from Atlanta to Amsterdam, because since they had to like rebook us, I didn't get a chance to choose my seat. Yeah, that sucked, but whatever. I got to Spain and the flights back were fine as well. No issues. All right, on to the next topic. Sorry that took That was probably a long chunk of video, but I just needed to get that all out there. It was a hot mess, but yeah. Moving on. Okay, next I'm going to briefly touch on the accommodations. So this was an Ultimate Plus trip, which means they're upgraded accommodations compared to the standard trip. This tour ran parallel to the standard trip, so we were on the same exact dates, same exact cities at the same exact time, but we were staying in different accommodations than they were. I heard some of them talking about their stays and comparing it to ours, and theirs were hostel situation. So I'm sure they had to share their room with more people, but on our trip, the Ultimate Plus, you just share a room with one other person. So that was nice. My roommate was Yvette the entire trip, so that was great. In Barcelona, we stayed at Hotel Catalonia Sagrada Familia. This hotel was nice. The rooms were small. It is like 2 twin-size beds put together. So it was nice that we didn't have to share the same blanket. We were talking about, we like that each bed has its own blanket, so like you don't have to worry about hogging the blanket or like waking the other person up when you move. Like even though the beds are together, like you can't feel the other person's bed moving. So I do like that it's not just like one queen size bed. The 2 twin size bed is nice. We did have a balcony and a nice like kind of street view, so that was nice. I will say, don't expect to stay in like the center of a big city on these trips. In my experience, I've been on 3 trips so far, and all our accommodations have been kind of like on the suburbs of the big city. So you do have to take like the metro in or like taxis and stuff. I will say that it was never an issue to get a taxi for us, and it wasn't too expensive to get from wherever we were at night to the hotel. Again, wasn't an issue. A couple of the nights we did, I think it was just one night that the metro ran like 24-hour. We did take the metro back. It was super easy to understand, not sketchy, and yeah, it was fine. I didn't have an issue with it. I'm sure that there will be people that would want to be more in the center of it all and like closer to everything, but I didn't have an issue with that. They do give you like a metro card, and it was good for like 10 rides. We didn't use all 10 rides, but yeah, we had that, which was nice. So that was Barcelona. Oh, it had its own like hotel bar we didn't go to, and this hotel had a really good breakfast buffet. Like they had an omelet station, and the hot food wasn't too great besides the omelets, I will say that. It kind of threw me off, but they had a wide variety of fruit and like lots of bread and fresh squeezed orange juice. They have like a machine that has like all these oranges on top. When you press the button, you can literally see the oranges getting squeezed into your cup, and it was chef's kiss. I did like that hotel. I didn't have any issues with it. Next, in Ibiza, we stayed at Hotel Fuchet. I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but like I said, you're not going to be in the center of things. So Ibiza is basically an island. You know this, right? One side of the island is where all the clubs in the city center is, and then our hotel was on the complete opposite end of the island. So it was like a 20-minute drive to everything, but I didn't really have an issue with it. At night, to get to the clubs, there's like a party bus type thing. They call it the disco bus. So there was a stop not too far from our hotel, so we walked to the bus stop, and then the bus took us into the city center, dropped us off exactly like right in front of the clubs that we wanted to go to. It had a stop at Pacha, and it had a stop at Amnesia, which is the 2 clubs that we went to. To get back, we did taxis, and they weren't too expensive from what I remember, and we split it between like 4 of us, so it wasn't too bad. I will say that the one thing I didn't like about this hotel is that there weren't very many food options around, like in the immediate like vicinity of the hotel. Like across the street there were like 2 food stands, but other than that there weren't many options. I will say that we did go to O Beach, a day club, on one of the days, and it was like down the street, which was really nice because we just like walked there around the corner and walked back after we were done, and that was great. So if you want to go to O Beach, Hotel Fuchet is really close to it, so that was great. And that hotel had a really nice like pool area with a bar and like snacks, and it was conveniently located like right on the same premises as a liquor store, so we bought alcohol there and snacks and all that stuff, and that was really nice and convenient to have. The rooms at Hotel Fuchet were pretty decently sized. We did have a hard time getting in because it's like an actual key, not like a card, so we had a hard time like trying to figure out how to open the doors, but you get the hang of it, and it was fine. It was 2 beds put together. We had a balcony. It was really cool. I really did like that hotel. Besides like the no food options, there was like a little restaurant in the hotel which I didn't go to, but I'm not sure what their hours were and what kind of food they had. Other than that and the 2 food stands across the street, there wasn't really much. In Valencia, we stayed at Hotel Valencia DWO. This one was the nicest of the three. Same setup, 2 twin beds. It was roomy. The bathroom was nice. Again, it's not in the center of the city, so you did have to take transportation and go wherever you wanted to go. I will say Valencia, it was a little harder to get around because there isn't really a metro system, or not that they showed us, besides like the buses, the public transportation buses, and I'm terrible at figuring that out. So besides when we were with our tour director, we didn't take the buses. We opted for taxis to the city center. Again, not expensive. Since we were in Valencia for such a short amount of time, I didn't really feel inconvenienced, and the only time we really taxied into the city center was to go get tattoos, because other than that, we were always transported in the bus to go meet our tour, like the tour guides with our tour director. When we went to the beach, they transported us and all that sort of stuff. And then we didn't really go out in Valencia. We just opted to stay at our hotel and go to the bar there. I will say the bar there is super nice. It has like a little sitting area in there, as well as I think they closed around like 1 or 12 something. So then they kick you outside, and outside has like the own seating area also. There was also a like breakfast room with the buffet, and again, just usual things, no complaints. It's just basic food. So out of the 3, my favorite breakfast was in Barcelona, and out of the 3, my favorite room was Valencia, and out of the 3, the most convenient I think would be Barcelona, because there was like the metro stop was pretty close. Ibiza was just nice. It was just like the nicest like outside area with the pool and all that. All in all, pretty good accommodations. No like huge complaints, no real problems. So yeah, accommodations are pretty good. Okay, so before I get into talking about the itinerary and the day-to-day, I wanted to devote this little segment to our tour director. His name was Tomas. He was amazing, and I've had great tour directors in the past too. Like, I've been lucky, but Tomas like is a whole nother level of amazing. He is 30 years old, so like he was easy to relate to, and like all of us, I feel like all of us formed a friendship bond with him. Like, you always bond with your tour director and they're always cool. We were all just like friends, like we were just chilling with our friends type of thing. He went out with us in Ibiza, and like we were drinking at the bar at the hotel, just like talking, and like he's hilarious, and he just made the trip so much fun. It was so sad to like leave, and I almost cried saying bye to him. He was just amazing, and he was very organized. Like, before the trip even started, he sent us like an itinerary where like it had a breakdown of like each day and like what time we would have to be up and what time we were leaving and where we were going and all that stuff. So that was really nice to have. He always communicated really well before we even left. He sent us emails with updates. There was a WhatsApp group. He was always talking to us on there, and it was just great. I don't think anyone will ever live up to how great Tomas was, which is really sad. I'm very lucky to have had a trip with him, and I hope that maybe one day he can be my tour director on another trip, hopefully. Yeah, so if you're seeing this, Tomas, I miss you so much, and thank you so much for making our trip amazing. We're gonna be your flamingos forever, your best tour group. Remember that. Remember that you told us that we're your best tour group. That better not ever change. If you ever get Tomas as your tour director, just realize how lucky you are, because he's so amazing. He's the best of the best. EF, yeah, you can give him a raise right now. Give that man a raise. Make him head honcho, because he's the best. Okay, that is all. Okay, so let's get into the itinerary. I'm gonna use the itinerary that Tomas sent us as like a guideline for me to go through, because I'm pretty sure I'll forget something. It's been a month since I've been back, so I don't really remember exactly what happened on which day. So I'm gonna be using that and my pictures to hopefully refresh my memory as I go on. But we'll start with the first day. Our arrival time was like at 5 something, so we were the last group to arrive, 5 something p.m. And on the itinerary that Tomas gave us, he had originally planned for a safety briefing at 5 p.m, a walking tour at 5:30, and then a welcome dinner at 7:30. But since a lot of people were delayed and our group was coming in late, he decided to kind of like shift the walking tour to the next day. So they didn't have a walking tour, so we didn't miss anything. He gave us our safety briefing when we arrived, and that was great. So I remember when we got to the hotel, everyone else was already checked in and all that stuff. They were already refreshed and all that. So while we were getting ready, he was giving everyone else in the group their safety briefing meeting. We had a little bit of time. We just like showered, got ready real fast, and then met everyone back downstairs to go to the welcome dinner at Mocha. We took the metro to kind of like the city center. He gave us a little bit of a walking tour, situated ourselves so we knew where we were and like how to get back. And then we walked to dinner, and there was like a whole bunch of tables reserved for us, and this dinner consisted of a couple tapas. I forget what they were, but they were really good. We got like a salad, we got like little bruschetta type things, which they call tapas. And then we each got like a main meal. So the server came around and asked what we wanted. I forget what the options were, but I got a steak type thing, and it was really good. And we got dessert, which I forget what it was. I'm sorry, this is probably gonna be not as descriptive as I wished it was, but yeah, everything was really good. And you got like sangria as well. So we started the night off right, and that's when we asked Tomas like what he recommended us to do that night, and he was like, honestly, I recommend that you guys all get a good night's sleep, because once this tour really gets going, like, it's non-stop. But of course, we went to a bar anyway. We just searched up like what bars were good in the area. We found one, so a couple of us took the adventure and walked to that bar after, and then Tomas took the rest of the people back to the hotel that didn't want to go out, which is the majority of the group didn't want to go out. So there was like a group of like 8 of us that actually went to the bar, and it was just a chill night. The name of the bar that we went to that night was called Marlowe Bar. The drinks were really cute. They were good from what I remember. It's not like we got crazy, but like we had a couple drinks and maybe like a shot as a group. We tried to get a taxi back to the hotel, but there was like no one picking up the ride on the app that we had, so we were like, let's just go to the metro. So luckily that was the night that the metro was open like 24 hours or like really late or something like that, so we were able to get back super easily. And yeah, we got back to the hotel and slept, and that was the first day. The next day we had breakfast from 8 to 8:30, so basically you can go anytime, but that was like the time he suggested us to go, since we were leaving at 9 a.m. So I think we ended up going down at like 8:30, and we ate from 8:30 to 9, just like he just wanted us to have like that buffer period. So yeah, we had breakfast, and then we boarded the bus for our guided sightseeing tour at 9 a.m. and it took us to a location where we met our tour guide. So like I said in one of my EF videos, you get a tour director. They are with you for the entire trip, and then you'll have like local guides in each city where they're like local to the area. They speak the language, they're familiar with the history, and they like walk you through everything and like show you the sights around there and like explain things to you. So yeah, we met our guide and he gave us a tour on the bus. So we drove around a lot, and we went up to this hill where there's like a viewpoint. I'll put a couple pictures probably, where there was like a view, really nice view of the city, and he explained all the history of that area and all that. We got back on the bus and headed to Park Güell. So the cheetah girl moment that everyone expects when going to Barcelona, yeah, we went there and it was cool, but honestly, I'm gonna sound terrible right now, but I was underwhelmed. I don't know if just like the cheetah girls hype it up so much, but like the view was nice, but you're not allowed to like sit on the top and like take you pics. I did, you'll see here, but everyone else got in trouble for it. Like so many people around, and you're like trying to rush to get pictures, you're sweating because it's so hot. Oh, also this day I was wearing long pants and like a crop top because we were going to the Sagrada Familia, so in the guide they said to cover your knees and your shoulders. So I wore a shirt that I could like put over my shoulders, and I brought a jacket, so I was carrying that around with me, and I'll talk about that a little later on. But yeah, just keep in mind it was just really hot. I was sweating everywhere. I will say I feel like the walk through that park was a little rushed, because there were areas with like beautiful arches where I did get a pic, put it here, but my friend Maria couldn't get a good pic because there was always people behind her, so we're like, oh, we'll just come back later, and we didn't have time to go back. So yeah, it was a little rushed, I will say, but also if I had much more time, I feel like I wouldn't have, like, we saw everything we needed to see type of thing. So it's whatever. We went to the Park Güell, and then we went back to the bus and headed to the Sagrada Familia. There we had like, they took us to a gift shop where they had like the motto of the Sagrada Familia, and then they gave us like, I think it was like 30 minutes to get a snack or shop before the Sagrada Familia optional excursion thing was taking place. Everyone on our tour actually booked that optional excursion, so that was cool. But we ran to get gelato and then came back and it was time to go to Sagrada Familia. And this is where I talk about my outfit. So I was kind of upset that the guide makes it seem like you have to cover your knees and your shoulders. I'm Catholic. I understand that that is customary, like that's the usual to go to church, but no one paid attention to that except for like my friends and a couple other people on the trip. All the other tourists were like in shorts and skirts and spaghetti straps and strapless. Like, I was upset because it was so hot and I had suffered all day carrying my jacket and wearing long pants, sweating my butt off, and I really didn't have to, so that was annoying. And I was just, at that point I was hot and irritated and just like over it. But the Sagrada Familia was beautiful. 10 out of 10 recommend. If you're booking this trip, you have to book this excursion. It was amazing to go inside and like see everything. Our local guides were amazing. We at this point split into two and we had 2 local guides because our group was so big. The history of it all was cool, so detailed. To see it up close and all that was great. And then they gave us like, I think it was like 45 minutes after, which you really didn't need. 45 minutes of free time. So I feel like we had already seen everything, so there was nothing for us to really do. So we were searching for AC. So we went to the gift shop and walked around for a bit and sat in there until it was time to meet up again. Then we met up with our tour director and he took us to the little restaurant that we were having tapas at, which is included in that excursion. It was at Pinxtos, Pinxtos is the place that we went for the tapas. They were really good. They were like little, I think like of bruschetta. They're like little bruschetta with different toppings, and we got 1 glass of sangria or like 1 soda, or anything extra was extra. You had to pay for it. So that was kind of lame because I thought it was like unlimited sangria, but whatever. And then you got like a choice of 3 of those little tapas. After that is when you have free time, so we were kind of interested in going to the Picasso Museum or like trying to do stuff like that. So as soon as we were done, everyone else was kind of like just chilling, sitting there, and we bounced. We were like, okay, bye. Because it was a Sunday, and on Sundays the museums are free, so we wanted to go to the Picasso Museum. But we get to the Picasso Museum and they're like, oh, did you make a reservation? We're like, oh no, we thought it was free on Sundays. And they're like, yes, but you still have to make a reservation. And all the reservations were booked, obviously. So we didn't get into the Picasso Museum. We were a little upset. So we just kind of walked around aimlessly for a little bit, and then I told you guys that I was just irritated and hot, and my outfit was just hot. So I was like, hey, can we go back to the hotel and change before we do anything else? So that's what we did. We went to the hotel and changed and chilled a bit, and then we were like, okay, well, we can do dinner tonight because it was free time. So we looked up, our tour director gave us like a suggestions like PDF. So we looked on there and we decided on one of the restaurants that he put on there. It was called La Fonda. And so we're like, okay, let's do that. But it was like 6 p.m. And yeah, restaurants don't open in Spain till like 8, 9. So we were like, damn, let's just chill here and like plan out what we're gonna do. We went to La Fonda. We had calamari, I'll put a picture here, paella. But the paella, I'll say, it did taste good, but it was kind of burnt, like not the greatest. I mean, I was all excited to try it because that was my first time having paella, but yeah, not the greatest first experience. It did get better throughout the trip, which I'll talk about later, but yeah, the first experience was kind of like meh. And I had crema catalana at dinner for dessert because I had seen so many videos that it was kind of like creme brulee, and I freaking love creme brulee. So I had crema catalana and it was bomb. 10 out of 10 recommend. If you go to Spain, you have to try it. So yeah, that's what we did. So after that, we were kind of walking around trying to find a bar to go to. We did end up at like some little Cuban themed bar, I'm pretty sure that was that night. And then our friends texted us like, hey, we're at this bar, like underground bar, if you want to come through. So we were like, okay, let's meet them there. We went to the little underground bar, which was pretty cool. Like the vibe was nice. They had music playing, they had a DJ there. We took shots. There was a bunch of people. It was kind of like a speakeasy vibe, but not speakeasy. Yeah, we just went back and went to sleep. I forget what time it was. It was pretty late though, because things don't get popping in Spain till like 1 or 2 a.m. So yeah, that's what we did that night. The next day, let's get back to my itinerary. The itinerary said breakfast from 7 to 7:30, but we weren't leaving till 7:50, and I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, this day we went to breakfast at like 7:45. Like we had no time. We went down and like it was time to go. So we did like grab some quick things to eat. We boarded the bus to go to Barceloneta Beach, something like that, to go paddleboarding. And not the whole group booked this, like maybe half the group booked it. So we all made our way down there. Hold up, let me close my window. It was cool. Honestly, if I could do it over again, I probably wouldn't do this excursion. I feel like it's something I can do at home, and it'd probably be more fun at home. Like the beach was nothing special in Barcelona, or not the one we went to, and it was like the most famous beach, so like yeah, I wasn't too wowed. And honestly, I could have probably just used more sleep and just more free time, but I mean, it was cool. I paddleboarded in Spain, like I can say that now. I will say that I got seasick just sitting on my paddleboard, because I didn't try to like stand or anything, so I was just sitting on my paddleboard and like paddling around. I get seasick really easily, and I should have known better. I didn't take my Dramamine that day because I was like, it's just paddleboarding. But yeah, I got seasick, so that sucked because it ruined the rest of my day. After we paddleboarded, we bounced. We weren't, like I said, the beach wasn't anything special, so we just left and decided to go back to the hotel, get ready so we can enjoy the rest of our free time. But like I said, I got very seasick, so I decided to sleep for a couple hours and try to like sleep it off. Eva ended up just staying in with me and also napping. My friends Maria and Emma, they did go explore a little bit. They ended up at the Boqueria market and all that stuff, which we did want to go see. So once we woke up, we went to the Boqueria market, and that's where we met up with them. The Boqueria market's so cool. Reminded me of Grand Central, was it like Grand Central Market in LA, where it's like all the little stands. There was a fish market in the middle and everything was super fresh. We had calamari. Yvette had like these little fish, like they reminded me of sardines, but they were like deep fried, and they were like tiny little fish with the head and everything on them. Yeah, she had that. And we had like fresh juice. It was really cool to walk around and see that. Then we met up with our friends, and it was time to meet for our flamenco show. So we walked and met the group at the flamenco show, which if you had stayed at the hotel, the tour director did take everyone else to the flamenco show. The flamenco show was an optional like extra excursion that Tomas offered us when we got to the tour. It wasn't part of like the EF offered things online that you book pre-tour. You like just bought your ticket that day at the door. So that was super cool. If your tour director offers that, I would definitely recommend it. As a dancer, like I was so wowed by everything, like the passion and like how intense that dance is. Like flamenco is beautiful, and that show is really cool. Your ticket included a glass of drink. All of us pretty much got sangria, and that sangria hit. By the middle of the show, a lot of us were like nodding off because it was like hitting, right? Which a lot of us were kind of surprised about, because the sangria we had previously like wasn't that strong, but that one hit just one glass and we were like all nodding off and like sleepy. But that was a really good show, and I would really recommend if that's offered to you. So after the flamenco show, I booked it to Gucci because I had in mind that I wanted to buy some sort of luxury item, because you know it's cheaper when you go to Europe. And on my first tour, I got a Louis Vuitton purse. It's just so worth it to get it over there because you save so much, and I'm into all that. So I wanted to get a purse and my brother some like sunglasses. So we're running there because it closes at like 7:30. That it closes way too early for my liking. I decided on a purse. I got my brother sunglasses, yada yada yada. Everything was all fine and dandy, but my friend was getting a purse at Saint Laurent. So we walk over to Saint Laurent, sit outside, and I'm like, hey, we're waiting for you outside. At this point, I take a snap of my bag from Gucci and I post it on my story, and I'm like, I tag my brother and I'm like, hey, like a surprise gift, right? That was the last time that I saw my brother's sunglasses in that bag. So after that, we walked to dinner. We went to this steakhouse. It was called Bomb. I'll talk about the meal after, but once we get to the restaurant, I looked down at my bag and I realized my brother's sunglasses are gone. Yeah, I got pickpocketed, and I have no idea when, because I was walking in front of my friends the whole time. I had the bag like under my armpit the whole time. Like I have no idea when it happened, how it happened, who did it. Like I cried. Not about like the monetary value of the thing, but just the fact that it was a gift for my brother, not myself, and the fact that I felt kind of dumb. Like, how did I let that happen to me, type of thing. But I called my mom, cried about it with her. She was like, don't worry about it, like these people are professional thieves, like this is what they do, like Spain is known for that, like don't worry about it. She sent me the money so I can buy it again. So in Ibiza, I bought the glasses again. That night I was so upset. I cried like the entire dinner. I couldn't stop crying. But I was just so upset that it happened to me. And thank goodness like they didn't like have to mug me to get it or anything, but it was just like frustrating. Anyway, yeah, we ate at the steakhouse, which is really cool. The steak was so good. What was cool about it is like you get the steak, it's like cut into small pieces, and then they give you like a little stove type block thing, and it has lard so you can like make it greasy, and salt so you put fresh salt on it, and then you put your piece of meat and cook it to like your liking. Amazing. It was so good. That meal was bomb, and it came with french fries, and yeah, it was really good. So after that we just went back to the hotel, and because I was not in the mood to do anything. That was the end of Barcelona, so it didn't end on a very good note, and that might have tainted my view on Barcelona a bit because I was honestly not a huge fan. Like, it's beautiful and the history is cool and the architecture is cool. Not my favorite place. Not my favorite place at all. Probably not even like top 5, but yeah, it was cool. Now I can say I went to Barcelona. So we had a really early start the next day. We needed to have the luggage on the bus by 5:45 because our flight was at 9:15, but you know, like a big group, you have to be at the airport really early. Since we left earlier than the hotel breakfast started, they made us like breakfast boxes that had like sandwiches and like a fruit and juice and all that stuff. And it was a huge box. So it was annoying to like have to carry on the bus, but yeah, they gave us food. We headed to the airport at like 6 a.m. Our flight was at 9:15. We arrived in Ibiza at like 10:15. The hotel was like an hour and a half-ish drive away from the airport. So we loaded the bus and we headed to the hotel. Definitely took that time to nap. But when we landed, I started to search up events because I do like EDM, like I can handle it. I go to raves, like it's fine, but I didn't want to have to listen to that for 3 days. And I figured that would be like the majority of what I would be listening to in Ibiza. So I tried to search up events that weren't EDM. And on the first day, I found an event at Pacha. Pacha was the first club I think we went to. Zion and Lennox were performing their reggaeton like duo, and super well known. And so yeah, it was a reggaeton night. And I'm so glad I found that. I sent it in the chat and I was like, if anyone else is interested, this is where we're going to be going. And a lot of us ended up going there. Some people ended up going to like an EDM event, but a big chunk of us ended up going to Pacha, including our tour director, and we had a blast. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, I found that event. We decided to do that. We bought our tickets online and then slept the entire way to the hotel. We got to the hotel around 12 and then we were leaving at 1 to the beach. So we had a little bit of time. Once we got there, our rooms were actually ready, so that was nice. Ended up changing, getting ready for the beach, and then we left for the beach. The beach was beautiful. The beach was Cala Vadella. Our tour director got us ice cream. We ended up having lunch at a little restaurant that was right by the beach. And that's where we had paella again, and it did not disappoint. This time it was way better. It was a huge portion and just Yvette and I got it. So we definitely didn't even get close to finishing, but it was so good. The seafood was really fresh. Obviously you're right by the beach. We were there for like 4 hours. So the rest of the couple hours we just laid on the beach, chilled in the water. The water was really nice, not too cold, not too hot. It was really clear, really chill, not a lot of waves. And then we left the beach and headed back to the hotel and got ready. And then we pre-gamed in someone's room. We had bought a bottle, like the big bottles of Don Julio in the little convenience store that I told you guys about that was connected to our hotel. Once we all pre-gamed, we left and started our walk towards the disco bus. I would say it's like a 15-minute walk maybe, but we got on and the disco bus is so much fun. It's like they're playing music. Everyone's pretty rowdy because, you know, obviously everyone pre-gamed it, and there was people from like Portugal and they were singing their national anthem, and our tour director is Portuguese, so he was like, why are they doing that? Like, they're embarrassing me type of thing. And we're like, oh shoot. But it was just a lot of fun. We were all dancing and singing on the bus, and it took us directly to the entrance to Pacha. So that was really convenient. Like, it leaves you like literally right outside the doors to the club. We get to the club, and like I said, it's a reggaeton night. I think they called it like Latino gang night or something like that. So the music was on point. The drinks were on point. We had so much fun that night. Like, I'm so glad I found that event because it was popping. It was good. It was a good way to start Ibiza off, and it did not disappoint. But I will say, clubs don't open till 12 midnight, and they don't get really going till like 1 or 2. So don't expect to be home early. We got home at like 5 a.m. and that's us leaving the club early because it still obviously goes to like 6 or 7. But yeah, we left and got back at like 5. Yeah, probably around 5ish. Then knocked out. The next day we had to be up and we were leaving to the Catamaran at 10:30. Catamaran was like maybe like a 15-minute walk away from the hotel. It was kind of in the same area that you get the disco bus from, so like kind of in the same direction. But when we got to the Catamaran, something wasn't ready. I don't know what it was, or something needed fixing, or something on the boat wasn't ready or right. So we ended up having to wait at like some cafe that was across the street for like almost an hour. So we really didn't get going till like 11:30 maybe. But anyway, we get on the Catamaran and that was a fun time. It's like a 4-hour boat ride. Takes you out to like a place where they like anchor so that you can jump in the water, and they have a whole bunch of like floaties, and the back of the boat is like a little canopy area, so everyone was like laying out there, and we were just all chilling and talking. And then the people on the boat, like the crew, they make lunch, which consisted of chicken, sausage, salad, bread. Yeah, I think that's all if I remember correctly. So yeah, we jumped in the water. The water was really nice. We were playing music the whole time. They have like an aux cord. On the way back, we all just started dancing. Everyone was just like playing different types of music. That's where you see the clip of my tour director dancing. I'll put it here again. It was in my vlog. But yeah, after we were done with the Catamaran, me, Maria, Emma, and Yvette booked a table at O Beach, which is a super well-known day club in Ibiza. So we booked a table there previously. As soon as we got back, we went back to the hotel, changed into a different bathing suit, and then walked over to O Beach, which, like I said, was like a 5-10 minute walk from our hotel. When we got to O Beach, they take us to our table, and you have like I think it was like a $450 limit, like that you had to spend, like minimum spend limit. And we ended up spending almost the entire thing on food, and the food there was really, really good. It was like the best food we had all the whole trip, which was very surprising. We did get a couple pictures of like drinks, which were good, but we took the opportunity. It was like a day bed, like a circle day bed. I'll put a picture here. We took the opportunity to chill. We just laid on that day bed and ate and just like people watched all day. Obviously people are partying, it's a day club and there's a pool and all that. There's like a DJ and everyone's going rowdy and blah blah blah, but we were chilling. It was real cool. I'm glad we did that. It was fun, it was chill, it was the relaxation we needed, because the whole trip it was just go 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 go. We never got a really chance to like chill. After that we went back and just slept. And then the next day at 10:30 we got on the bus to go to the city center, so we got to see all the historical things. We walked around a bit. Our tour director got us ice cream again, and once we were done with like the guided part, we had free time basically for a couple hours. So I remember us walking around aimlessly. There's like a lot of like little gift shops. We did a little shopping. This is the day that I rebought my brother's glasses. So there was one Gucci in Ibiza, so bought the glasses, bag secured. I made sure they taped it. I held it like crumpled up under like my arm the whole time. Then there was a lot of other luxury stores around, so we went and checked those out a bit, and then we made our way back to the city center again. This time we walked back because it wasn't too bad. It was just hot though. We got back and we still had time to kill, so we ended up having lunch at the Hard Rock Cafe, and then it was time to meet up again to go back to the hotel. We had a dinner, an included dinner at Natural P-A-U, Natural Pow. I don't know if that's what it's called, but that dinner was cool. It was outside though, so I did get a couple mosquito bites. The food was good. Then we walked back to the hotel because that was a night that I had found another reggaeton event, so I found a foam party at Amnesia. So we got back to the hotel, changed, got ready for that, and then pre-gamed again by the pool until it was time to go. This night I feel like a lot more of us went out, so it was like a bigger group. Our tour director went out with us again. That was so much fun. But we expected foam, right? But the foam doesn't start till like 5. They told us like 5:30. But everyone wanted to see the foam. I was over it at that point. I didn't care about the foam, but everyone wanted to see the foam, so we literally stayed till the foam didn't go off till like 5:30. It was a whole shebang. There was like dancers, there was like spraying champagne, blah blah blah. I made sure I was under like a protected roof area so I wouldn't get any foam or like champagne on me, because I was not into that, but everyone else did. Everyone else had a fun time in the foam. There was people that were like soaked when they came out of the foam. So after they played in the phone for a little bit, we were like, okay, let's go. It's like 6 a.m. Let's go back. So we went back and slept because we had to be up and out of the hotel by 9 a.m. So our ferry was at 11. We got to the port, I don't remember at what time, like 9:30 maybe. But we got onto the ferry and I knocked out. The ferry was super cool. It reminded me of like a cruise ship, and then the seats were like really nice. They were like airplane seats, and it was like huge. I slept the whole way. I'm gonna charge my battery because it's flashing at me. I'm just gonna finish filming this on my phone because I don't want to wait for my battery to recharge on my camera. Arrived at the port at like 1, boarded our bus at like 1:15, and then it was like an hour and a half to get to our hotel in Valencia. We arrived to our hotel at like 3:30, and then we had till around 6 to get ready for a sightseeing tour. Walked around the city. The city's beautiful. We had a guide for this part as well. She was cool. She was telling us a lot of history, and our tour director got us churros from the famous like horchateria in Valencia. And then after the sightseeing tour, we had free time. We were also very tired, so we just opted to get dinner around there. So we found this place, a little like hole in the wall place that had good reviews on TripAdvisor. It was like a 3-course thing. You got like the appetizer, your main course, and dessert. So that's what we did. I don't remember what I got. Probably calamari. I was eating calamari for every single meal. And then we decided to just drink at the hotel bar. So we got a drink there and sat outside because they closed the bar, so we had to go sit outside with our drinks. And that was a fun time. We ended up like telling stories with our tour director, and he's freaking hilarious, like I mentioned. Then we went to bed, and the next day we had to be at the bus ready to go to the beach at 10 a.m. A lot of people opted not to do this. A lot of people just stayed in and did their own thing. I think everyone was just, at that point, we were all just exhausted. Like, yeah, tired. So, but we did end up going, I feel like 10 of us ended up going to the beach maybe. Like just 10 of us, or maybe even less. We ended up going to the beach, staying there for a couple hours, just chilling, going in the water. The water was really nice there. There were waves, but they were like tame. The water was clear. It was nice and warm, and the sun was really hot that day though. So yeah, but yeah, it was a nice little chill time. The bus came back for us and took us back to the hotel. We got ready, and this is the day we went to go get tattoos. So after the beach was basically just free time, we ended up getting ready. Our tour director was coming with us because he was also getting a tattoo. So we went to lunch, just the 4 of us, my tour director, Maria, and Emma. And then Yvette ended up meeting us because she had taken herself on like a walking tour of Valencia at her own pace, where she didn't have to like worry about her feet hurting and all that stuff. So at that point she met up with us at lunch, and then we ended up finding a tattoo shop. Actually, another girl in our tour group, she was like calling tattoo shops all morning. Then she finally found one that was available and open and letting people walk in. So she texted the group. She's like, hey guys, like, this tattoo shop is letting people walk in case anyone else is getting a tattoo. So we ended up going there and meeting her. She was already getting tattooed when we got there. But yeah, they had a whole bunch of like different like already pre-selected tattoos that you can choose from at different price points. And then if it was something that wasn't on their things, you would just send them the picture on the Instagram. They would print out different sizes and tell you the different prices. This is the one I got there. A little sun, half sun. I was gonna get that eventually. I was already looking for tattoo shops here at home that were gonna do it, but it was way cheaper in Spain. I think I paid like 45 bucks for this. Super quick. The guys were super talented, super nice. And yeah, so we all got tattoos. And after that, we had free time again. So our tour director at this point left because he had a shit ton of stuff to get ready before the dinner. So we ended up going and walking around a bit more. We ended up going to the horchateria. Some of us wanted to try the horchata because we wanted to compare it to like Mexican horchata, and I wanted to try the churros that you dip in chocolate. So this day I was wearing white pants and I ended up getting chocolate all over them when we went to the horchateria. So our plan was to just go to the horchateria, sit there until it was time to go and meet for our farewell dinner. But I spilled chocolate all over myself, so I had to run to Zara to get some sort of pant situation. So we ran to Zara. It was a mission. It was pretty far. I ended up buying just the first pair of jeans that I could find because that Zara was they didn't have much. The ladies let me change in the dressing room, which was nice after I bought them. So I changed, and then we made our way over to the farewell dinner, which was at El Forcat. I'll put the name here, whatever. At the farewell dinner, there were like a variety of different like appetizers or like tapas, and then like 3 different types of paella. There was like chicken, there was a seafood, and there was like a noodle type paella thing. All very good. And then we did have dessert, but I don't remember what it was. And then we all went back to the hotel because our tour director, oh, you know how I told you guys that the 2 tours, the standard and the ultimate plus, were running in parallel? Well, it was weird because at our farewell dinner, we basically shared the location. So we were all just all in the same room. And so our tour director felt weird about giving us our speech like in front of them. So he was like, oh, let's just go back to the hotel and go to the bar, and I'll give you guys a little farewell speech there. And I also have a gift for you guys. So we ended up going back to the hotel, going to the bar, having a drink, talking about our time, getting a little emotional. And then our tour director gave us his speech, his goodbye speech, and gave us a gift. He like 3D printed a flamingo keychain with EF Ultimate Break, and then 2022 it says on there. I think that's what it says. But it's really, really cute. It's a flamingo because he names all his tour groups a different animal, and we were his flamingos. Some people got flamingos tattooed on them. Like, that's how bonded we were with our tour director. So yeah, it was really, really nice. We wrote him a letter, gave him the tips at that point, whatever you want to tip your tour director. And that's when we said goodbye because our transfer to the airport the next morning was like at 3:45. The bus came to get us, and yeah, it was leaving at 3:45. So that was rough. And yeah, that's basically the end of the trip. We got to the airport, waited like an hour or 2, and got on the flight. There was no issues on our flights home. We made a stop in Paris for like an hour, and then from Paris to LAX. So we ended up landing in LAX at like 1 p.m. And yeah, there was no issues. I had applied for global entry a couple weeks before our trip, and I had been conditionally approved. And LAX is one of the airports that allows you to do approval upon entry. So I took the chance to do my little global entry interview. So overall, my suggestions, if you're considering this trip, is 1, probably don't do the Barcelona paddleboarding unless it's something you absolutely are dying to do, because it's not. I feel like you can do that at any beach in the US and whatnot. Definitely do Sagrada Familia. Pace yourself. Take time to yourself. Don't feel pressured to do anything that you don't want to do. Don't feel pressured to go to things, like skip out on anything that you need to if you're feeling like you need the time to rest. Just take care of yourself, because it is exhausting, but it can be really bad if you don't take the time to rest. Also, drink responsibly, especially in Ibiza. Don't go too crazy. Prepare for the long nights in Ibiza. Clubs don't open till 12. Don't really get started till 2 a.m. You're out there till like 5, 6 in the morning. So just keep that in mind. Be aware that you're not going to be staying in the city centers. Like, you are going to have to take some sort of transportation to like the main areas. All in all, 10 out of 10 recommend. It's been my favorite trip so far. Also, it's my first trip not traveling solo, and I think I enjoy traveling with friends more than I enjoy traveling solo, which is weird because I always thought like, oh, like if you travel solo, no pressure to like hang out with anyone or like plan with anyone, like you're on your own and it's like more fun. No, I had way more fun having my friends there and experiencing it with them. So I have a couple trips planned. Next year I'm going to Ireland for St. Paddy's Day, Greece sometime in the summer, and Thailand in September. The Greece trip, I will be traveling with my best friend again. Ireland I am doing by myself, and then Thailand I'm going with a sorority sister, as well as a guy that was on my Spain trip is also going to be on the same dates, so that'll be cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that's probably really long, and I'm sorry that I didn't have my camera for this last portion. I hope the quality is not too bad. I hope this painted a better picture about the trip if you are considering it. I really enjoyed it, so I recommend it if you are eyeing it. Also, I would like to point out that if you're considering booking a trip with EF Ultimate Break, I would suggest booking now, because the Black Friday sale is like less than 60 days out, which means that they'll honor any discount that they have during that sale now. So let's say you book your trip now and it's $2,500, right? And then for the Black Friday sale, it goes on sale for $500 less, so it's $2,000. They'll honor that and match the price. So you just call them and tell them, oh, I see that my trip's on sale now. I booked less than 60 days ago. Can you honor the sale? And they'll do that for you. So you don't really have to wait to see what the discounts are. If you know the trip you want to do now, I would book it now so that it's further out and your payments would be smaller. The further out you book something, the smaller your payments are. So that is my suggestion. Go book a trip now if you know the one you want to book. That sale's coming up real fast. It's coming next month and it's a good one. It's always a good one. I always book at least a trip during the Black Friday sale. So yes, that is my suggestion. Book it now if you know, or yeah, just be on the lookout for that sale if you're not ready to book right now. Also, you can stack my code with the discount as well. So just a heads up if that's something that you're interested in. Next video will probably be an escape vlog, which is Escape Halloween, which is a rave that I went to last year. Last year was my first time ever going. This year we're going again. We're going both days. So that'll probably be my next thing. I'm hoping it'll be a lot better than last year. I feel like I'm getting better. So I feel like that vlog will be a step up from last year probably. So that'll probably be the next thing. My friends and I do have a couple things planned, so I might just do a little bit more like smaller vlogs and things like that. So we'll see. I'm hoping to make more content as I see that my channel's growing. It's making me very excited and I enjoy this. Like I said, drop any suggestions you have down below. I'd be happy to try them. Thank you guys for watching this video. Subscribe if you like my content, if you like to see more. I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate all of you who already have subscribed. All of you that reach out. I've enjoyed meeting so many of you through Instagram or through the comments. Like, you guys are awesome and I appreciate all the support. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Bye.